Okay. I guess we're live.
We're live.
Yeah, we're live.
That's live. Hopefully that's not live.
3 seconds is not enough for me to get to my chair. Are you crazy? Hey, hold on. Let me just double check here. This is our first time
going live.
I don't know if Donnie's on.
I have been living in an edited world, and now I'm living live.
No, you're living live. Okay, yeah, so I guess we're live.
How do we know? How do we see like who's doing anything? Like we don't.
You can't. Yeah. So
how does Donnie know? Like, oh, somebody's doing this. Is he like?
He has a moderator.
Oh.
Yeah. Donnie has
That's dope. How do we even find out? Like, does it like the camera talk to us?
I do. Oh, like
how do we know
that people are?
Yeah. Because how do they communicate with us if this is our like device? You know what I mean?
I wonder if like this is how non-techie we are. And I promise we're not that old.
No, I'm not.
But I wonder if like if you were logged into the account as well.
Okay. Well, can we be logged in two places at the same time?
I feel like
we need a moderator. We need a cool moderator who's like young and fresh and hip and knows all the things.
And named Donnie.
It'd be great if he was named Donnie.
Yeah,
because that just sounds like a cool.
That just sounds like a moderator.
If you could text us,
yeah, that'd be great.
So if there's anybody like that out there,
hello.
Yeah, please text me.
Please text me.
Find my phone number. No, don't find my.
Well, actually, he should be on there. So you could say, this is how bad it is. We just we didn't even think to. I know there's a practice feature for TikTok. We just went, oh, Matt just like looked at this 2 seconds.
We don't need to practice. We just go live.
You're talking about practice.
Game time. Let's go.
You're talking about practice, coach. But no, it's so like if we're not good, that's why.
It doesn't show me that you're live yet.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Well, then I know I didn't do it.
You didn't do it.
So we weren't live.
We are not.
You're
live.
still living an edited life.
Still living. I feel so boxed in.
Okay, so it shows here that 3, 4, 5. Oh, there he is. Donnie can see us.
Donnie can see us.
Donnie, the moderator named Donnie who joined us. There he is.
What are you
okay,
doing?
Cool.
Just making us look dumb.
Yeah, come on, man. It's already our first time. This is not great. All right, what does he say? What did he say?
He just says, "Doesn't show me you're live yet."
Okay, well, I saw boys. All right, and then I saw his nostril hairs.
He's lying to us.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, about a week ago we were given the chance to access live, and then we have our good friend and a volunteer moderator, Donnie, say, hey, you should totally do this. Get the word out there about War and Wisdom.
He's actually an AI bot, but
yeah, he's actually not real. I've shaken his hand though, like it's kind of strange. But shooken. But so yeah, here we are testing out the live thing because based on Donnie's recommendation, he does this too. So if you find Donnie, like he's a pretty cool guy. He does his own thing. I won't tell you what. It's a surprise, but it's awesome. And so we're like, okay, let's do this. And if it's rough, it's because it is. And we've never done this before. But we were recommended to have a question up, and we just thought maybe just talk about what War and Wisdom actually is.
Yeah, we'll get better at this. We're just getting started. So if you guys have done this before and you're like, hey, you need to do this, or I think you should do this, or whatever, let us know.
Sure, yeah.
And Donnie will teach us. You guys are learning with us, I guess, or you're teaching us as we're learning.
Yeah.
So we'll just talk about what War and Wisdom is for now, because I think you guys have seen some of our videos. If you haven't seen our videos, you'll be like, what the heck is this thing?
That's great.
War and Wisdom, like intriguing, also kind of dangerous maybe.
But I wanted to say really quick, the hint is, well, I don't know if it's a hint. We talk about doing things for the first time and getting better at it and being okay with the imperfection. So this is a great example of us being out of our comfort zones. For the most part, and doing something. So
Donnie says flip the camera vertical if possible.
Vertical, man. I don't know. I don't know if we can actually, because I don't think that thing holds us vertical. All right, rough.
We'll give it a try.
We're gonna.
So the reason why, maybe you can keep it here if it's possible.
Yeah.
We've got this tripod thing that we got, and it like holds the camera. It's like it's holding it like this. And I don't think
Donnie,
it's
I don't think we can.
enough. Oh, maybe you can just rotate it. It can still.
Maybe.
There's something at the bottom of it. That's why.
Well, yes, there's something at the bottom of it too. But let me give it a try. And earthquake incoming. Earthquake incoming. So hold on.
Where'd it go?
Boom. There's
got
something at the
these
bottom of it
things that
too.
hold
But
our
let me
mics.
give it a try.
We're giving it a
And
try.
earthquake
Ooh.
incoming. Earthquake
Yeah,
incoming.
earthquake
So hold on.
Where'd it go?
Boom. Hold on.
Where'd it go?
Boom.
It's so dark.
Oh. Are we still on? Are we back? No.
The camera's, it's black.
Guys, this is how you know it's bad. Hold on. Maybe we try without the microphone. That's the only. It's only getting worse. All right, here we go. Donnie, is this better?
Donnie is.
Holy cow. Talk about, Donnie's like, go deep chat, live questions. Topics, big and small. Yes. Okay, cool. Awesome. He said this is better.
Okay.
And we trust him because he's hip and he's an AI bot and he knows things. All right, cool.
Yeah, he scours the internet and tells us all the things.
Okay. We should probably have talked to Donnie before this.
Yeah, we should.
But
here we are. Okay, so what is war and wisdom, and why the name war and wisdom?
Yeah, so actually, I mean, do you want to give them the story? Just want to tell them that part first, war and wisdom.
Yeah, I think this is your cup of tea. You're great at this.
Okay.
You're a great explainer.
All right, we'll see about that.
Explanator.
You be the judge. So, Aaron and I have actually known each other for a really long time. But we really didn't start becoming friends until almost 3 years ago. Maybe even like a little over 3 years. More than 3 years now. So it's crazy. It doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel that way. And then we thought we had a really cool conversation. He was going through, pretty tough season in his life. And we play basketball together. And we go, I should probably talk to this guy. And he said, you seem pretty cool. And then I'm not going to remember everything, but there was one line that hit me and I just go, this guy gets it. Or he knows something that I don't. He said, does it feel like sometimes living life is like watching TV? Right? And so some of you guys might understand what I mean. I was like, yes.
It's like the Matrix comment, right?
Yeah.
If any of you have seen the Matrix, it's this beginning of like somebody's reaching out to Neo and they're like, doesn't it feel like life is like a movie or a TV show that you're in, and there's something different, something else going on that you're kind of missing out on, that you should be there.
And there's other people like us. Mm-hmm. I know this sounds kind of woo-woo already, but we decided let's grab coffee so we play basketball at 6 a.m. on a Saturday, and at about 8:30, for about an hour or more, we would grab coffee and just chat. So we just started talking about literally everything.
Having coffee conversations.
Okay, this is important, kind of. We'll come back to it. Aaron's a licensed therapist. So when I started talking to him, I was like, why? This guy's deep. Why does he know so much? And I was like, and found out why. And he's lived a lot of life. And from there, he had this idea. So he actually already has a podcast. And so from there, he thought to himself, hey, why don't we start recording our conversations in case there are gold nuggets?
Yeah, and actually, I'll say it this way. I decided that we should record because you and I both would be talking to different people in our lives. Like we'd have these conversations and then we'd go out throughout the week and then you'd be like, oh, I was talking to this guy and telling him some of our conversation. And I'd be like, oh, I was telling a couple of clients, or I was talking with another friend about the things that we talked about. And everybody that we were talked to was like benefiting from it. And they're like, oh, that's really good. Tell me more. It's like they were just really intrigued by it. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, well, why don't we just record those conversations and put it out as a podcast, and then people can listen to it. So like we can still talk to people about it, but instead of us telling people about it, they can just listen in on those conversations.
Right. And the content of the conversation came when we were basically dealing with our own stuff. Mm-hmm. So we go like, man, like I'm having a tough time with this person, this relationship, family, friend, spouse, whatever it was.
Or myself, like something.
Or ourselves.
Myself,
Right. No, that's huge. So I learned a lot about myself just from talking to him. It's like sitting in the discomfort, the number one most important thing that I learned from him. So we talked and we go, there's something here. And I just thought that, I was like, podcasts would be fun. Everybody and their dogs are doing podcasts. But then I also thought maybe these conversations could be recorded and we could learn something and go back to refer to them as audio notes or whatever. So we started doing that. And then he's an entrepreneur. And I'm what do you call it? Not a budding entrepreneur, but like a wannabe entrepreneur. And so we thought maybe we could give it more structure. So why war and wisdom? Initially, it was going to war with yourself and not like beating yourself up, like the exact opposite. It's knowing that life is difficult and you were made for more. So it is a battle to get to your fullest potential. We all know this. And so we're going we're going to go to war with mediocrity. We're going to go to war with our average selves.
Go to war and do battle with the things in ourselves, maybe the old patterns, the old stories, the old beliefs, or the parts of ourselves that are holding us back from achieving that full potential.
Right. And so we go, but also kind of the war with the things outside, within, without, because we go, I'm having a really difficult time with this person, and there are things within me about myself that makes these things difficult, so I have to address within and without. Right. So that's the war portion. So calm down,
right.
And then we would for us, a wise man has many counselors. So the wisdom portion of it is that you go to war with wisdom, going into these battles with as much wisdom as possible.
You have a strategy that you're engaging it with, and you don't want to just walk out on the battlefield and not know your opponent, right? Because then you're just going to be slash dead. That's it.
Right. But also the experience that you gain. Wisdom, I think, is an experience. It's an earned experience.
It's the art of living life skillfully.
Right. And those skills go into your tool belt for the next war. So we started giving it conversations. We became we went back into being boys. What would be a cool name, and then we were War and Wisdom. It's got a ring to it. So we kind of called it that for now. I think that's what it'll be called.
I think ChatGPT came up with that.
Did really?
Yeah. Because didn't we have a couple of titles this is so long ago now that it came up with a couple of other ones that were oh, that's interesting. That's a good one. But War and Wisdom just stuck.
Yeah. And it was going to be War and Wisdom Coffee Conversations. It was supposed to be strictly podcast based. And even today, everybody asks so when do you release episodes?
Yeah.
I was we kind of don't do that.
Yeah. Maybe we will still. We
want to come back to it
a couple days ago. But we're also doing TikTok lives here. So we're okay, maybe that's the route we'll take. So we don't know where this is going to lead. But also this is what we're talking about, achieving your full potential. We know that there's good messages that we have, important messages that people are looking for and that you want to hear, that we have learned and we know, and that we're still learning, and we're walking into that stuff. And so we want to just kind of put that out on display and lead the way as we are following other people who are leading the way, like Chris Williamson or Derek Grant or who else? Chris Voss.
Adam Grant.
Yeah, Adam Grant also.
Derek Grant, Adam Grant, Simon Sinek, the Brene Browns.
Yep,
so people we were hey, this is really, really cool.
Yeah. So we're just trying to follow, some of their lead and lead other people that are like us, who want to grow, that want to overcome your stuff, do battle with your issues or whatever, and achieve your full potential. And so we're doing this as we don't exactly know how it's going to go. We just know that there is a destination in front of us that's straightforward, and we're walking that way. And if something pops up, Donnie's flip your camera vertical,
okay,
or whatever. Maybe we need to do something differently, have
stand on your head while you do
TikTok, up on a different, device or whatever. We'll figure that out. Or if we're going to switch platforms, I don't even know.
Yeah.
But we'll find out, and you guys will tell us. So,
in a sense, we're taking any opportunity that comes at us as we go.
Yep.
And I also wanted to say, so right now I've basically been posting on TikTok, on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, the usual. So we have all that. That's the extent of it now. We've done long form stuff. We've kind of put a curriculum based type deal together.
For an actual course, which by the way, there's a lot of work. It's this course is Achieving Your Full Potential. So far, I think there are 4 or 5 modules.
5 chapters, yeah.
Yeah, chapters in it. And it's got some videos where we, where we talk through things and we walk you through it, explain it. And then there's some written text if you want to read through step-by-step instructions for how to do it. And then encouragement for you, the listener, the reader, to do it on your own. So I don't want to say it's intensive, but it's work. Yeah. It's a full course. And it's definitely for people who want to go deeper and actually engage this work and not just kind of be entertained or listen or be, oh, that's interesting. If you actually want to get somewhere, you're going to have to commit yourself to that. But it's great. I think it's something that not everybody is going to be into. But if you want to go that route, it's there.
Yeah, we know that.
And it's free right now.
Right. Yeah. It is free right now.
But it won't be for long.
But But we also know, here's the thing, I've always thought this, and I think this to this day, I was just thinking this the other day, there's no shortage of information out there. There's no shortage of paths. There's no shortage of, quite frankly, anything, like literally to address in like most parts of life, from fitness through, you know, like stuff like this, personal growth. Heck, like I think a ton of people learned to cook during COVID because that's what you could do, you know, during that. And a lot of people, all these chefs just like put stuff out, which is awesome. And we know that. So, but we just wanted to really come with our own flavor, do our own thing. And quite frankly, if I were to be perfectly honest, I don't know what that necessarily is yet. I don't know what it is that unique.
Okay, I'll tell you. Here's what I think.
Yeah.
And this is like in my podcast that I have. It's like therapy related, mental health, personal growth related. I would say it's similar to this, which is there are a lot of people out there that will give you a lot of great information. They'll explain things, and it's awesome. It's inspiring. It like might, you know, switch your mindset about something. But with a lot of things, it's like, well, how do you do that? What does that look like in real life? And so it's like you need somebody kind of along with you who's in the battle with you, showing you, like if we're about to go into battle, right? Let's just use this metaphor. And like I'm an expert, it's okay, this is going to show my lack of expertise. An expert swordsman, is that the word? I don't know.
I don't know if he's ever picked up a sword.
You know, I can be in it with you and show you like, hey, here's how you like fight better, right?
Yeah.
Here's how you hold the sword. Here's like how you like use your strength better or whatever. Who's in it with you, knowing how it has been done and can show you kind of step by step or here's what it looks like for me when I do that to give you some idea. So it's not just information that you are moving toward, but it's like, hey, take a step, good job. There's a step. Now take another step with your right. Okay, good. So it actually, it's more relatable, I think. And you feel more like the things that we're explaining are maybe easier to grasp, easier to understand. Because some of the stuff out there is really heady. And it's like, it's awesome, but it's like, whoa, that blew my mind. And I need to meditate on that for a week.
And then lose focus.
Right. And then I'm like,
No, actually, and you're totally right. So you'll notice some of the shorts and the reels that I put up has to do with like I literally recorded something right after something. So for example, one of them was that I had a very difficult conversation and I go, here's what was very challenging about it. And here's what I really tried to do during that conversation. And I try to do that in 90 seconds or less and just put that up for you guys. So I think you're absolutely right. Like it wasn't just, I don't like to just throw out the term accountability. It wasn't just like, oh, you're going through tough stuff. So that's why, we're here with you. We're here for you. Like we're part of a community. Sure. But I think there's also the vulnerability side of, although maybe we can't share all the details with you because it's private and other people don't want to be, you know, on blast. But we want you to go, we go through this too. We're going through this. We're doing our best to quote unquote practice what we preach. And we want you to know what this was like. So I'll give you a quick example. So I like literally just happened last weekend, right? Family, loved one, loved this person, asked me to do a favor. And then they kind of critiqued the way that I was doing this favor for them that I had already agreed to do for them like 2-3 days ago. And I go, whoa, that just doesn't feel good at all. And I actually kind of lost it a little bit like with her and got really annoyed. I just said, well, in that case, like I can just stop. Like I don't have to do this. And then we went about our day for a little bit. And then I had to, this is what Aaron taught me. Step one, sit in the discomfort, identify. Sorry, go ahead.
Your body. I was going to say the first thing was like you noticed your body was like, whoa, something's happening.
Head, heart, mind.
Like this doesn't feel good. But then it was
Enneagram 1s in the head. Is that where we feel it? Okay.
Well, in the body.
In the body? Okay, cool. So so it was super uncomfortable. So I was like, he said, step one, sit in your discomfort. I was like, like just hated this moment. I used to have like huge anger issues. And so I would go, that is really interesting. In the moment, there was so much emotion, I just could not try to even pick up the words that were being said. So I sat in the discomfort just so I can go back into that short memory and go, what was said? Why were those words said? And what made me feel the way that I felt? And then I realized, this is why, because I agreed to do this for this person. And yet they had nothing but a negative remark to say. there's a family history here of this being done, and I think like this person learned it that way, and so did I, and so do I. I think I'm still trying to create, still trying to fix that.
But which, by the way, let me just interject. It's what he just said sounds really simple. Like, why didn't you figure that out originally, right? Because it's like somebody asks you to do something, you start doing it, and they critique it. It's like, duh, right? But if the thing is that if you've been in this a lot, and if this is like a repeated pattern or cycle, it can be really hard to see because it's so normal. It's like, oh, this just happens all the time. Like, what do you mean?
It's
like,
ingrained.
It's ingrained. Yeah. So it's like it's hard to see things that are. It's just the air that you're breathing. It's like the fish saying,
the fish
like,
in water.
like, hey, look, this water is cold or whatever. It's like, how do you even know that?
Yeah.
Anyway,
which is so crazy, right? Like we're so quote unquote intelligent. But so I came away from that and I sat in the discomfort. I thought about what was said. I thought about what it was that I was feeling. I go, wait a minute. I should not be treated that way for trying to do something kind, doing a favor. And so I approached this person, but I can't just approach this person. I just had to go in the most loving, softest voice possible, which was not possible for me back then. I said, hey, I realize I agreed to do this for you, and you had nothing but negative critique for me. First of all, I don't think that's right. And then this person assumed and said, oh, so you just really just want me to show gratitude. And I said, no, actually, not really. Like, I'm not the kind of person you need to say thank you to for things. That's not how I operate. However, I just noticed that you had nothing but negative critique for me to do something that I was trying to do that was positive for you. So I just want you to at least be aware of that. And your buddy Scott helped me realize this. He's like, reframing the way that you should be treated. So simple, right? You should not be treated poorly, and you should not treat people poorly. And I just go, wow.
It's like a don't bite the hand that feeds you sort of an idea.
100%.
Yeah.
But then I was like, how normal has it become within my life to have this sort of a dynamic with this person that we just expect this? Actually, I totally expected this, which is kind of sad. But I've done some work, so I guess I didn't expect it as much. I did not expect this negativity, but it was that usual spike in negativity, spike in negative emotions, come down, brush it off, sweep it under the carpet, and move on. And I think that's going to be such a pivotal breakthrough moment in my life with my relationship with this person.
And even just with yourself, I think.
Myself.
Because like you're saying, like if I have been used to being treated this way and it's been normal and it's been expected, then it's like, that's not my full potential. And as you like learn your value and you protect it better, which doesn't mean you have to be rude or mean to people. It means that when something like this happens, you feel it, and you notice it and you comment on it and you just say like, hey, this isn't okay. Like, this isn't a huge deal. It's a small thing, but I just would like you to not be critical in this way. So it's like you're protecting your value and learning to live in a different way with people, so that it's like when you do this again and again and again, you get farther away from the like bad old patterns that you're used to. And then if at some point you go back to that and you experience it, your body is probably going to feel it so much more, because you're like, oh man, I am not used to like being treated that way. So then when I am, you're so sensitive to it. Whereas when it's normal to you, you're desensitized to it. It's just normal to you.
Correct.
Which it shouldn't be.
But your reactions are definitely not normal.
Totally.
And I just didn't know that. And I want to say this. I just want to throw this out there too. It's not like, hey, find ways to make sure and figure out how this is someone else's fault.
Right.
Because how we treat,
not at all.
How we allow people to treat us is our fault. Right. I would say like, so Aaron and I are very much the kind of person, we try to go default and say, okay, in that instance, what did I do? Because I realized I was like, all I did was agree to the favor, started working on it right away, instantly without being told. So I'm like, I did not do anything to deserve that critique.
And also, like, what is it about me? What button do I
instantly without being told? So I'm like, I did not do anything to deserve that critique.
And also, like, what is it about me? What button do I have that's my button that's exposed or whatever that would cause me to get so upset or so angry, in this situation with this person? I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to, react this way to this person. So what do I need to do with that button? Oh, I just need to protect it. And see, this is the cool thing, is that if, to me, the way I think about this is if you do this more and more over time, you protect that button. Like if if something like this happens and there's a critique and you address it, you are building trust with yourself. Yes. That your system knows if that button gets pushed, you will step in and you'll do something about it.
Right.
So then your system can be like, okay, we don't need to get so upset because we know that you'll handle it.
Right. And it'll take time. It'll take some fortitude. It'll take perseverance. But that's what we're here about. Like, wisdom is earned like one micro action at a time sometimes. But just to cap that thought off, we want to take full accountability, because accountability gives us the power to actually make a decision. If it's always somebody else's fault, for me as this person, I was like, it's like saying, this person always makes me angry. Then you're also saying this person has all the power to make you happy, but if they never use it, then you'd just be miserable forever.
Right.
So that's the accountability and the taking the power back, putting that back in your hands, super vital, super important. Your what do they call it? Your autonomy, the sovereignty of an individual. I thought that was a really cool line I heard once, and it just kind of stuck with me. So that was an example of what we try to do in War and Wisdom. Of course, we have the long form stuff, and we could do better with like sharing more of our days, but then life is busy. We all know this. You know, your life is incredibly busy. Who knows what you got going on?
We're so busy working on these things, we don't have time to record it and give it to you.
We're so busy working on these things, we don't have time to work on these things.
I'm just in it. Yeah,
we're just in it.
That's like my week, for example, like, some of this, like, we hung out on Thursday night, and I came into that meeting like with some fresh stuff that had been going on for me. Like I had been kind of dealing with that this past week. Some of it was really good, and then it was like a little bit of a crash. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? What is this stuff that's happening? I don't even really fully understand it. So sometimes it's like we're just in it. We're working through it, and sometimes it's like, in this case, it was like it felt big enough. And also I just had not been sleeping. So like I've been tired and exhausted. And so like I didn't record any of that stuff. But sometimes like I'm going through things and it's totally fine. I'm like, okay, this is tough and I'm working on it. But here's my video and I'm going to record that and send it out to you guys. So
we're gonna do our best to hold space, to be, of course, like human. And we'd like to be able to say, oh yeah, everything we're going through, we like to be able to record on it and post it right away. But like Aaron was saying, how like sometimes you just need whatever time, who knows how much time that is, whatever time to work through whatever it is, so that you actually have, quote unquote, these hopefully loving, but these wisdoms to actually share.
Yeah, because it's not, here's the thing, like obviously we want you to achieve your full potential. I want to achieve my full potential. But the reality is, in some ways, we're never really going to be there.
Correct.
It's sort of a ruse that you just want to be on the path and on that journey toward it. And as long as you're always moving toward it, then you are achieving your full potential. So the achieving your full potential is not like the GPS, in your app on your phone or in your car when you're driving, where when you get to your destination, it says you have arrived, and you're just there. It's more like you're ongoingly doing these things. You're getting better at them. You're getting quicker at them. You're recognizing things a lot faster. So it's really, and then it's also more about enjoying the process and the adventure of it all than it is about arriving at the destination. So for example, just to give that a little bit more clarity, like, so the stuff that was going on this week, really exciting for me. It was really like, upbeat and excited and hopeful about stuff that's going on in my life. And then like something came up for me that was like totally unexpected. Like, why are you feeling this way in the middle of like something that should be really exciting? And I was trying to work through that and figure that out. And there was a little part of me that was afraid that this could like take away from or like unravel or undo the good, which is not possible. That's not reality. But that's the scared part of me that was activated. And so I was like trying to figure that out. I was talking with Matt, I was talking with Scott, and working through it. And essentially you guys were saying like, okay, it sounds like you're just figuring some stuff out. You're adjusting. Some things have changed and it's new for you. And you're just trying to figure some of that stuff out, and you're going about it well. It just hasn't fully resolved. It hasn't landed yet. And you just need to it's just going to take some time to iron itself out until it's like, okay, clicked in and good. And so essentially for me, it was like, you just got to sit in the discomfort of you're not really there yet. you're working on it and it's happening and it will be okay. And so in that, I was like, oh yeah, that's uncomfortable. But also like, I'm trying to learn, and this is what we're talking about, the adventure of the journey. It's like, this is the adventure. We don't know where this roller coaster is going to go. We just know that we're on a roller coaster, and like
that's scary.
We're going down. And it's like, whoa, you know. At some point, it's going to go back up, and then you're going to be like, oh, that was awesome. Yeah, and I will say, like, you know, a couple days later here, I'm there.
Was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. And it works out if you do the work and you it doesn't mean that the outcome is always going to be what you want, because as we're on a double date last night and we're talking about like things are not at all what we expect them to be. Like I want it to be this way, and then when we're there, it's like, oh, here I am, and it looks nothing like I imagined it would be, but it's awesome. So if you can be open to that outcome and just enjoy the journey and the process with us, that's what we're trying to do and teach you to do as well.
And sometimes you would get to, I've had moments in my life where I got to what I thought it exactly would be, and it wasn't as great.
Yeah.
It was like, oh man, I thought it'd be like way better, but then the person you become would undoubtedly be better. I remember there was this gal, I wish I remember who it was, but this lady, her favorite motto was like work in progress. So if you ask her like, what's your life about, like being a work in progress, I think legitimately her epitaph said work completed. So she wasn't done until she had passed.
Yeah.
So I was like, that is crazy good mindset, which even you saying that as like recovering perfectionist, you kind of, for me, I would go, I can't wait for the work to be done. But you're basically saying the work's not going to be done.
It's never going to be done.
And I'm still trying to wrap my head around and just go accept the full fact that it's actually really cool that the work is never done.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool. That means like the leveling up never really stops. Sometimes slow, sometimes fast, sometimes not at all, but you don't have to regress. Sometimes the battle's to keep from sliding backwards. But you know how they say 3 steps forward, 1 step back? We're coming back to square one. I heard this from a friend. She's kind of a colleague / cohort. She helped me realize your step one, if you quote unquote got back to where you were, is not truly the same original step one, because the person you've become or whatever you've experienced, whatever you can draw and pull from, already changes you. So if you feel like I'm coming back to step one, not really, because you've either had more quote unquote failures, like Edison said, right? Not failures, but many ways to not do something.
You know more now.
You know more now, so you technically can't be the same person. I love this saying, the same man never enters the same river twice, because both are constantly moving. The river is constantly flowing, so it's not the same. And when the same water.
And when you go back to square one, you're not starting over, you're starting from experience.
Right. And you get to choose to tap into that though. So like knowledge isn't power, applied knowledge is power. And it's so funny when I first heard the same man never enters the same river twice, is because from a molecular cellular standpoint, our cells are not the same. What do they say? Within 7 years, all your cells have been renewed. So technically you're not the same person every day or even every moment. That's just being pedantic, I think. But it's so true. So to think that we can, and I'm not sure why I brought this up, but like to think that we're sliding back or going back to the way we were, not entirely true at all, what that means is there's no cop out there to go, see, I tried everything and nothing worked. I was like, no, you've gone a certain distance. If you walked on a path that you were so sure it was going to work, but it just didn't work for you, what was the difference?
So
how do we pivot?
How I might see that is like if originally you're approaching things and like the issue is like this big or whatever, and you do some work, you try to figure some stuff out, and like it quote unquote doesn't work, and you're left with like this much, and you're like, oh, it's still there. Well, you can revisit it and see that it's still there, and so you failed, or you can see it as, I figured all this stuff out and I got down to the root of the problem. So what's left is not like, oh, I failed to, again, this is outcome based, right? I failed to completely eliminate it. Instead, you're saying, oh, I narrowed it down to what the issue really is, and now I can see it so much more clearly. And maybe it's more difficult, it's more rooted, it's going to take a different kind of an effort or a different strategy to get to that thing. But at least now I know what it is and what it's going to take from me. And that's very different from that starting point. And that's the whole adventure of it. Like, you're figuring that stuff out.
it's sometimes you got to go far to figure out what happened at the root level of things. That's actually like really, really good. So I certainly have had a ton of moments like that. So that's kind of the gist of Word and Wisdom. We're going to continue to put stuff out. We still have curriculum, and we saw. This is my experience of shiny object syndrome. There's so many ways to get things to so many people that I don't want to get lost in the weeds of that and come back to what we truly set out to do, which is helping people unlock their potential with our brand of uniqueness, individuality.
So you told me this story. Maybe you can, if you remember it, the story of Kobe Bryant practicing the fundamentals before a game. I think you had told me this. There was an interviewer, a journalist. You remember this?
Yeah. Yes. So, I mean, this is like pretty famous. You can look it up. But he was asked, he was doing what the journalist considered to be 4th grade level drills.
Like the second best player in the world, right?
We
behind
say
Michael
second
Jordan.
best very convictedly.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people disagree. All right,
obvious.
LeBron's not in the conversation.
Clearly not.
Changed my mind. So he has asked like what for hours, like pretty sure like for hours. So the journalist at the end of it, like during press time, he goes like, "Why do you do this? Why do you do such elementary drills?" And he said, "I'm the best because I'm the best at elementary drills." So like drills. So his talk was basically like building that foundation.
You don't ever get away from the fundamentals,
and that sucks. You don't. I remember you saying this like. You never get away from the fundamentals. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, like this is me processing when you said this. You never get away from the fundamentals, which means you can't get around the reps. The reps are what build us in every single thing. The more difficult conversations you have, the better conversationalist you will be, assuming you try to learn from each. But this also kind of sucks because I don't like being bored. So he was saying like you can't get bored with the foundation and with the reps. Which, here's my thing. You talk about going on an adventure, doing the fancy stuff, the behind the back dribble, the tween, travel and shoot, like, because the Harden, like whatever, the triple step back. Right. And then you go, okay, that was cool and fun and exciting for a while. It worked a couple times. And then you go back and then it stopped working. Somebody figured me out. They play better defense now. And then I'll tell you this. Now I'm so glad when I have those moments. Then I just turn back and go back to the fundamentals and add a few more reps Because
here's what that looks like in practicality. Like we're both basketball players, right? So
I like playing basketball. I'm not a basketball player.
That's true. That's fair. We're not. There's no elite stuff about that. In my own brain, I am. Like, that was amazing. And I watched the video and I'm like,
that was really slow.
But. So it would be like, okay, I put in some practice to do this move and it worked, and then somebody figured out. Here's the deal. It's more about who you become, right? So if you were a person of discipline and practice and you put in the repetitions over time consistently with consistency, it's those things. So who you are now as a disciplined, consistent person, if you want to change the move and you want to add something different or try something else because your opponent has figured it out, you're going to use those same skills to build a new move, right? To create something different or to practice something different that the opponent hasn't seen before. And now he has to figure out how to adjust to that. And if you don't give up, also, I would say that as another thing, if you just stick with it and you don't give up and you're like, okay, opponent figured this out. Let's go back to repetitions and consistency, and you put in the work and you are always adapting. It's really hard to beat someone who never gives up. And so it's between you and your opponent. If you've got the repetitions.
And you are your opponent.
Yeah, exactly. If you put in the repetitions and you don't give up and you're just continually adapting and evolving, and your opponent gets tired and decides to give up and not learn how to defeat that, that's when you've quote unquote won in a sense. You've overcome because you have maintained or even honed who you are in that process. It's more about being that person in life than it is about like making the move. Because once you are that person, you can just enjoy the process. You can enjoy the like competitive, the how do I figure this out? Oh, I need to adapt. There we go. I got it. And you just enjoy the whole process.
And this is cool. This is cool, like cap off to that thought. So going back to the work in progress, you're never really done. When you are bored of the fancy moves because somebody figured you out and stopped you from doing it, human beings, we love progress. So once we come to a dead end, going back to get a bigger shovel or to get a different tool or to hone a different skill. So in this example, going back to the fundamentals is progress. Because you just go, well, I've done this before. I was like, yeah, but have you done it like this? So I'll give you, I have a live example from this past week for this, okay? So I've tried to do all these fancy things. It works a couple times, but I realize I'm maybe not very balanced. So what do? I go back to dribbling the ball. So in basketball, all the basketball coaches know this. There's something called pounding the ball. So there's dribbling and then there's pounding, right? So like literally putting as much force through the ball. You're trying to put the ball through the floor.
Which is harder to control.
Harder to control because the ball travels faster, right? There's more bounce. I've never been able to dribble with my left hand, and I still can't. This past Wednesday, Aaron and I play ball at 5 a.m. on Wednesdays because these old guys are crazy and they want to hoop before work. I like playing basketball that early in the morning. I just don't like waking up. All I would do is, after I put my shoes on, I would take the ball and just don't even put it in my right hand. I would just start dribbling with my left. And I would pound the ball. So what I started doing Wednesday without thinking about it, I lowered my stance because if you want to dribble fast, you got to be low. And I just started pounding the ball. And what I would usually do is watch the game that's in front of me. You know, like there's a game going on. I'm watching them or I'm talking to people as they come. And I just like started pounding and lowered my stance. And I just like watch. And before I knew it, I was like, I didn't lose the ball. I was like, normally 10 dribbles in or less, I would lose the ball. And then now I would just pound the ball. And I was like watching, I think the game had almost ended. I was like, and then it took me a moment to go, I didn't lose the ball. Whoa. And what I was trying to teach my left hand was to basically dribble through my fingertips. And so I used to think about having to do that a lot. And then I kind of got distracted by the game and I just kept going. And I was like, that felt so natural. I forgot about the fact I was dribbling.
I didn't have to think about it.
I didn't have to think about it. I started I pound the ball and watch the game, and I started moving, just kind of like just swiveling. Because if you don't play basketball, you'll know how if you don't play basketball and you try it, you'll know how difficult it is. What I'm talking about. And I was like, and I just had that whoa, like that epiphany moment, right? So it's like for me with tough conversations, this tough conversation with this tough person, before I knew it, I was like, wow, I just stopped exploding. I stopped being angry. I stopped responding or reacting the way I would used to. And we would actually, Jefferson Fisher, argue less, talk more. Jefferson Fisher is really cool. You got to check him out. He's amazing. Fifth gen lawyer.
That's crazy.
And that blew my mind. So I'm like, fifth gen, like how many, so his great father, grandfather, great grandfather. So like, yeah, so anyway, super cool. Argue less, talk more. But it took so much cognitive awareness, being conscious of like, I'm in this conversation, I'm incredibly, or actually reflecting, right? Like I did this past weekend. It's like, what was it about that? And then figuring some of those components out, not waiting for the perfect opportunity, and not immediately, as quickly as appropriately possible, taking action and going back and approaching that person. Because if you give it too much time, that person might forget what had happened. Or they would say, oh yeah, that never happened, I never said that. And you're like, no, this was like 30 minutes ago. If you have it in your capacity or you built it up to that, I just went, you know what? I would usually hate approaching this person about anything. There's a reason why we don't talk a super lot. But I'm going to do it. And it turned out really well. And I think it turned out good. It added to our relationship. So that's just one of those live experiences that I guess kind of came together. I tried to force it to make it fit together. But yeah, so
anyway, I guess as we kind of close up here,
a couple minutes left.
I just want to say like, thanks for joining us on this journey, for being on this ride with us. We're learning a lot of things along the way. Really, ultimately, that's the point is like, come on this journey with us, learn. If you are not in that place, then you will have to learn, how to be open, how to see yourself differently, how to engage your weaknesses and shortcomings and failures and missteps as opportunities to learn. Or if you're somebody out there that you somehow came across us because you are a learner and you're like, oh, people that are doing what I'm doing and this is inspiring me to keep going, that's awesome too. We'd also love to hear, we want engagement. We want to hear from you guys. Like, what are you doing that's helpful to you? But ultimately, it's like these fundamentals, we're going to talk about them again and again and again. But we're not going to get away from them, but it's not going to get boring because they're just applied in new ways and in different situations. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say other than this is super fun. It's like, also kind of weird to be just talking to like a phone, but you and I are just hanging out. So,
well, that's how it started. You guys weren't even a thought when we were thinking about that. And like when we were just literally trying to have good conversations over coffee. I guess we should tell you, like, I'm Matt.
And I'm Aaron.
And he's Aaron.
Now that we're like 40 minutes in. Like, hey, by the way, here's my name.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like, this was kind of fun. Thanks, Donnie, if you're still
thanks,
there. This is a really good idea. If we should do this more, let us know. I don't know. Can they let us know? How
do it differently?
Do it differently. So we Thursday night, and we were chatting with AI bot Donnie, and he was basically drawing out a roadmap with us for us to go, here are a couple of ways that you can try to do things. And quite frankly, it's a lot. He owns like multiple businesses, and he's a full licensed therapist. You know, like I have a family, I work a full-time job. And then I want to do this. Like, this is so much fun, and it's not always comfortable. So that's why I know I should do this, and I like doing that.
Just being real.
That's War and Wisdom, the place where we are not good at ending anything.
Yeah, right. The battle is never over. So we're just gonna continuously be doing TikTok live.
Cliffhanger, just stop it.
For like not 11 hours. We're gonna go 12 days. Yeah.
We heard of somebody who was like Donnie, you shared this, like streaming for 11 hours.
Yeah, that's wild.
Did they like take them to the bathroom?
You know. Cool.
Yeah, like I was like, did they take him to the bathroom with them for like 11, 12 hours? So anyway, love you guys. And that's War and Wisdom.
That's War and Wisdom.
Walk around and stop you because the camera's all the way over there.
So it's gonna be awkward for a minute while we're done.
Hang tight, baby.
While we're done, but you're still watching.
Awkwardness is discomfort, so get used to it.
Yeah, just sit in it. Still waiting. Almost there. He's getting closer.
I don't even know how to stop it. How do you stop it? Hold on.
This is awesome.